Welcome back to our channel. Today we have a captivating folktale from the heart of Africa that teaches us about judgment, destiny, and the power of passion. Once upon a time in the village of Udofia, a beautiful young woman named Chikobi faced an unimaginable challenge. After giving birth to quadruplets as an unmarried woman, a taboo in her village, she was cast out and left alone to fend for her 4 baby boys. But fate had other plans. The boys were adopted by a wealthy woman named Neofala. Among them was Obere, a boy with an unusual obsession. Known as Kasongo for his incredible speed, Obere was misunderstood and eventually sent away. However, when life seemed bleak, a mysterious act of kindness changed everything.
Come here, my dear daughter. I've been wanting to share a story with you, one that carries important lessons about judgment and destiny. Are you ready to listen?
Yes, Mom. I'm curious. What's the story about?
It's a tale from our village of Udofia, many years ago. It begins with a beautiful young woman named Chikobi. She was known for her beauty, just like you. But unlike you, she found herself in a difficult situation.
What happened to her?
Chikobi was unmarried and became pregnant. But here's the twist. She didn't just have 1 baby. She gave birth to quadruplets, 4 baby boys.
Wow, that must have been overwhelming.
It was. But in our village, it was taboo for an unmarried woman to have children. Instead of helping her, the villagers chased her away.
That's awful. How could they do that to her?
I know, sweetheart. It breaks my heart to think about it. Chikobi had no home and no support. She tried her best to care for her babies, but eventually realized she couldn't manage on her own.
Did she give them up for adoption?
Yes, my dear. It was a heartbreaking decision, but she knew it was for the best. Fortunately, the very next day, all 4 boys were adopted by Neofala, a wealthy old woman who lived on the outskirts of the village.
That's a relief. What happened next?
Neofala took the boys in and named them Obere, Chidi, Emeka, and Namdi. As they grew up, she noticed something peculiar about Obere.
What was it?
Obere had an unusual obsession. He loved chickens. He would sneak around the village, taking chicken meat from neighbors' pots, or even live chickens from their farms.
Oh no, was he stealing?
It seemed that way to the villagers. But Obere was incredibly fast. They couldn't catch him. They nicknamed him Kasongo, which means wild boar, because of his speed.
That sounds like trouble for him.
It was. The neighbors complained constantly, and eventually Neofala felt she had no choice but to send Obere away.
That's so sad. He was abandoned again.
Yes, my dear. At just 12 years old, Obere found himself alone on the streets of Ezekioba village, begging to survive.
Did anyone help him?
Sadly, many people judged him based on his past behavior and were wary of him. Life seemed destined to be hard for him, until one day something extraordinary happened.
What happened?
While he was sleeping on the street, someone filled his begging bag with money. No one knows who did it.
Really? That's amazing.
When Obere woke up and found the money, he went straight to the market and bought small chickens with it.
So he went back to chickens again.
Exactly. With those chickens, he started a small poultry farm. And this is where the story takes an incredible turn. His farm grew and grew until he became the owner of the largest poultry farm in all of Ezekioba village.
No way! The boy who stole chickens now owns a chicken farm.
Yes. Isn't it remarkable? Obere transformed his life completely through his passion for chickens.
What does this story teach us, Mom?
This story teaches us not to judge others too quickly. Obere wasn't a thief or a troublemaker. He was simply following his destiny without realizing it at first.
So his love for chickens guided him towards success?
Exactly. What others saw as troublesome behavior was actually leading him toward his future as a successful poultry farmer.
I see now.
We should try to understand why people act the way they do, instead of jumping to conclusions.
You're right.
Especially when it comes to children. Sometimes what seems strange may be part of their journey toward greatness.
What else can we learn from this story?
It also teaches us about resilience and second chances. Despite being abandoned twice and struggling on the streets, Obere never gave up on his love for chickens. His passion ultimately led him to success.
And what about his birth mother? Did she ever find out what happened to him?
The story doesn't say for sure, but I like to think that once Obere became successful, he sought out Jacoby, and they were reunited. That would be a beautiful ending.
It would be. What about his brothers? Did they have their own stories too?
We don't know much about them. They stayed with Neophala and likely led normal lives in the village. But perhaps they also had unique destinies waiting for them. This makes me think about how we treat people today.
Would we still chase away someone like Jacoby?
I hope not. While some old beliefs linger in our community, many have learned compassion over time. Stories like this help remind us of our past mistakes and guide us toward understanding others better.
I'll remember that, Mum. It's important not to judge too quickly and be kind instead.
Exactly. We should always look beyond surface behavior and understand people's struggles and potential. This story also shows how our passions can lead us in life. Obere's love for chickens seemed odd, but ultimately brought him success. You're spot on. Our passions can guide us toward fulfilling lives if we pursue them wisely and responsibly. I'll keep that in mind as I think about my own passions. And remember, success isn't just about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right, fulfilling your own dreams, regardless of what others think.
This has been such an enlightening conversation, Mom. Thank you for sharing this story with me.
You're welcome, my dear. I'm glad you found value in it. Let's make it a tradition to share stories like this together. It connects us to our roots and teaches us important lessons.
I'd love that. Can we do another one tomorrow night?
Absolutely. Now get ready for bed. We'll continue our storytelling tomorrow after dinner.
Good night, Mom. I can't wait.